if there were two kind of people, if there was a person A who was just reading for 2 years and he did not solve even one question, and there was a second person who did not read one word also of theory, but he solved all the questions, the second person will win the match in the much higher score than the first person. And what I've noticed by personal experience is that if you have a girl who is an accountability buddy, she will get you back on track. This is if you study like 2 or 3 hours in your hours which are productive, and if you do it every day for 365 days, you are done with it. आराम से हो जाएगा. Tuition class. So before even my tuition class got started, I had done 4 hours of studies. So that really helped me a lot, and another thing was that I did not have a mobile phone in class 11th as well as class 12th. And personally also have the willpower. Promise yourself कि आज से 1 महीने तक के मैं हर रोज 5 क्वेश्चन बैंक करने वाला हूँ. एक क्वेश्चन बैंक में let's say 35 questions है, and I will analyze my mistakes. After that I'll update my mistake book and just make take a copy and वहाँ पे सारे dates लिख दो in the calendar format, and every time you do 5 question banks, just write a 5 and circle it. That will be something that you have to complete. In the end, when you look at that paper, you'll have, okay, this is 1 month and this is the visual representation of how much I've studied. And in class 12th, finish the syllabus of class 12th in 6 months and use the last 6 months to give a lot of grand test based on 11th plus. As you get along with MBBS, mornings and nights don't matter. It all blurs in together because you have to study no matter what, and make sure that you have the willpower. It all boils down to simple thing, just sit down and study. So just have that willpower कि 4-5 घंटे पढ़ना है. That's it. Everything will be good. If you are giving like 2 hours for your theory preparation, that is reading, then 50% of time, that is 2 hours again, should be given for solving questions. The more grand tests you give, the more you will be prepared for the exam. And if you give a grand test every single Sunday, you will have made a lot of progress by that time. Just know that the exam is very easy. People have hyped it up like crazy.
So hello guys, greetings from IB360. So today we have with us Anuj Pachel. So he probably needs no introduction. For those of you who don't know, he's a third year MBBS student at GMC Nagpur. He has secured a super impressive 885 rank in NEET UG 2018 and 99 percentile in AIMS. He makes super impressive videos on YouTube, and personally Anuj, I've been a very huge fan of you. He has around 400,000 subscribers and he shares his journey being a medical student. He's also the person behind the Axon App Play Store, and Anuj, I have been following you for a very long amount of time, so like more than 1 year or 1.5 years, and I've seen you evolve with your video editing and content creation journey. Nice to have you.
Thank you so much for the support. I mean, honestly, it's people like you who make it worth, making videos and, doing something actually. So thank you very much for the support.
So Anuj, like 885 rank in a national level competitive exam like NEET is like certainly not easy actually. So can you tell us your journey, like from starting of NEET to GMC Nagpur?
All right. So what I would like to share with all the aspirants watching this is focus a lot on building your concepts, building your foundations. Because I'll just give you an example. If you're good at Newton's laws of motions in physics, then that applies to basically every single chapter that you are going to study, be it rotational motion or electrostatics or nuclear physics. All of it comes down to those simple things. So build your foundation. So that's what you have to focus on 11th. Understand everything and build your concepts. Like I used to read good amount of books. Like I finished my modules for my tuition classes along with GRB. Apart from that, NCERT, of course. NCERT is the main book that you have to read. That is, I mean, I'm not going to repeat it. Everybody says it. So just remember, NCERT is the way to go. And in class 12th, finish the syllabus of class 12th in 6 months and use the last 6 months to give a lot of grand test based on 11th plus 12th syllabus. So that would be the basic fundamental of your timeline, and doing that regularly, consistently will get you success. मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि आज तुमने 15 घंटे पढ़ाई कर ली और फिर तुम एक हफ्ता कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे हो. That is not the way it has to work. Small steps every day and you will reach the top. That is the basic thing.
The thing that you mentioned, consistency. Okay, so I think a lot of people or don't get this. So I think it's a very important factor that comes into play for success in any competitive exam. So like the constant momentum of studying every day, like it's certainly very hard. So can you tell like how did you maintain consistency like in your NEET days? Like how can one maintain consistency?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm also preparing for national exit test or NEET PG as we call
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So that also requires a huge amount of effort. It is like 10 times bigger than NEET UG. And the simple fact is you have to have a target at the end of the week. Okay, this is the week number 1. आज का target है for me, let's say, for preparing for next, so complete 5 modules of surgery every day. So that will be like how much? 7 5s or 35 modules of surgery, plus like videos, and these are read notes 3 or 4 times. So at the end of the week, if you have this target to achieve, you will work for the entire week for that target. When I was in NEET UG, we had weekly tests in our tuition classes. So what used to happen was, for the 1 week, like we had it every Thursday. So that entire 1 week, from Thursday to Thursday, we were all like, this is the weekly test which is going to, there's going to be a rank. Everybody's going to be watching us ki tumhara rank kitna aaya hai. So we have to study a lot for that. So for that 1 week, so you study a lot, and in the end you give a weekly test. So which with each passing week you make a progress every single time. And since the weekly test for every single week, we had to study no matter what. So this is the way to build consistency is like have a target right in front of you. Join a subscription platform which has weekly tests that will get you to be consistent. And personally also have the willpower. Promise yourself कि आज से 1 महीने तक के मैं हर रोज 5 क्वेश्चन बैंक करने वाला हूँ. एक क्वेश्चन बैंक में let's say 35 questions है. And I will analyze my mistakes. After that I'll update my mistake book and just make take a copy and वहाँ पे सारे dates लिख दो in the calendar format. And every time you do 5 question banks, just write a 5 and circle it. That will be something that you have to complete. In the end, when you look at that paper, you'll have, okay, this is 1 month and this is the visual representation of how much I've studied. So, and find someone to be accountable with. So if you have a friend who is preparing for the same thing as you are, okay, give him a target. तुम्हारा target है कि मैं अगर मेरे इससे deviate हो रहा हूँ, so you have to get me back on track, and same goes for you as well. So find a person for you who will guide you whenever you are going here and there, and make sure that you have the willpower. It all boils down to simple thing: just sit down and study. So just have that willpower कि 4-5 घंटे पढ़ना है. That's it. Everything will be good. That's it.
Okay, so you mentioned that at the end of each week you used to have a test. So did you have a daily, weekly, or a monthly target during your NEET prep?
Yeah. So so for my NEET prep, for each week now, the tuition class had a weekly test. So it would always be like there will be like 4 or 5 chapters. So one from botany, one from zoo, one from chem, one from physics. So each week we would cover at least 4 to 5 chapters. And that was how each week I covered 4 to 5 chapters. So in the end, I guess NEET has 96 or 113 chapters, I don't remember now. So that way it all got covered pretty fast. And apart from weekly test, we also had a fortnightly test, so every 15 days, and 1 monthly test. So it was like 7 to 8 tests per month. And testing is very important, because if you don't know how to solve the questions, there is no point in reading theory.
So another question that people actually flood this in our comment section as well. So people often ask this question, like students often ask this question, like how many hours one should put in to get into a good medical college or something. So is that really necessary, or the quality of the hours is more important than the quantity of the hours?
Of course. Quality is definitely more important. Of course, if you are I'll give you a perfect example. If it's not my day, I will sit for 5 to 6 hours and end up finishing 3 chapters. It's my day. If it's my day, I'll sit for 5 hours and finish a subject. So that's how good it is. So just make sure to find out what time of the day you are most productive in. For some people, it might be mornings. For me, it was morning. So when I was preparing for NEET, as you get along with MBBS, mornings and nights don't matter. It all blurs in together because you have to study no matter what. So if possible, sit in the morning, wake up at 4:30. I used to wake up at around 4, and from 4 to 8, I would study. And then I had my tuition class. So before even my tuition class got started, I had done 4 hours of studies. So that really helped me a lot. in and another thing was that I did not have a mobile phone in class 11th as well as class 12th. That was one of the major determining factors of my success, because nowadays I look at my screen time and it's like 5 hours, 5.5 hours. It's a lot compared. I could use that time studying, but of course I can't let go of it also right now. So that is what is happening. If I had to give you a particular set of hours, I would say if you study if you study like 2 or 3 hours in your hours which are productive, and if you do it every day for 365 days, you are done with it. आराम से हो जाएगा.
Okay. So another thing that you mentioned, like having an accountability partner, right? So in my life also, like I have been very much benefited. Like I have actually found a mentor who actually guides me, like through this YouTube journey also as well. So how can you like find a mentor? Like,
yeah, I understand your question, and personally, I mean, I don't have a mentor per se. There's usually the friends which I make in any place, those are the people I share everything with. So in NEET UG also there were a bunch of people, like we were 4 or 5 guys. We were we are still very good friends actually. So we shared everything. Like we shared ki, okay, this is the part that I'm weak at, this is the test, and this is not my result, I'm not scoring good, I'm scoring good. So share everything with your friends. Initially what will happen is that only you will keep sharing, but later they will also feel like, okay, ye banda itna bata raha hai, to main bhi bata deta hu kuch, and gradually they will become your partners. And what I've noticed by personal experience is that if you have a girl who is an accountability buddy, she will get you back on track. This is what I've experienced. Like if you have a like a male friend, usually what happens, you both just chill out and don't study. That is what happened with me a lot. Okay, तू भी नहीं पढ़ रहा, ठीक है, मैं भी आज ऑफ ले लेता हूँ, कोई इशू नहीं. But if it's a female, then थोड़ा लगता है 11th-12th में डर लगता है कि हाँ यार, अभी वो लड़की के सामने इज्जत अपनी खराब नहीं होनी चाहिए. तो ये बेसिक कंसेप्ट है.
Okay. So yeah, so like now if I just come to the subject wise discussion, so like so first of all we come to physics. So like how did you cover physics for NEET? Like did you focus on NCERT and solve some other books as well, or any particular strategy you followed for physics?
Yeah, so sorry. So the thing is, for physics, like again, we had weekly tests. So every week we were covering one chapter, no matter what. But as like, to be absolutely honest, I did not even solve any question from NCERT of physics, and that was wrong, because I think at least 1 or 2 questions appear from NCERT of physics. So it is important. So you solve it, but as far as I'm concerned, like I did not solve any sort of NCERT for physics per se. What I did solve was the modules which you get from your coaching classes. I solved every single question from that. Then you have to remember is that physics they pull the concepts from previous year questions. Concepts, not the questions exactly. So you will have the similar question which appeared like 10 years back. You will have it once again. So in the market there is this 33-year question bank, 34 year. There are a lot of companies make them. You just go buy any one of them. It will have all the previous year questions. So for physics, if you do that, you get all the concepts which they are going to ask the questions from, and you solve it every day, and it is chapter wise distributed. So I did that a lot. Like I completed that book 3 or 4 times. So I had like, okay, whatever the questions are going to be coming, they are going to be coming from this single book only, because इससे ज़्यादा concepts उन्होंने कभी पूछे नहीं है पहले पिछले 35 years में, तो logically इससे ज़्यादा वो बना भी नहीं सकते हैं, because वो वही होता है, they are copying and pasting from the back. Secondly, what I did was I used to sit for 30 minutes. See, when I was in 11th, I was very bad at physics. I was not able to solve enough questions. So my main problem in 11th was I was not good with time management. So what I did was I sat for 30 minutes in my home only, opened up any book, let's say it was GRB, and from the leftmost side of the first question, I used to like, okay, you have 30 minutes, you have to solve every single question of this page. So in one page in GRB, you might see like 20 or 30 questions. So it was my goal, in 30 minutes, can I solve 30 questions? And I did that every single day for 2 or 3 times. So 1.5 hours I studied physics every day. And if you do that. Initially in the first 30 minutes you're going to get up like 15 questions, and at the end of 1 year, in 30 minutes you will end up getting more than 30 questions also. So you increase your speed because you're pushing yourself in each 30-minute session. So follow these 30-minute sessions, and make your life more productive. So these are all the tips for physics that I would give. And make a formula sheet so that you can revise all the formulas at once.
Coming to like biology, like so biology is a very scoring subject for NEET. So how did you like tackle biology, like, and what tips you like to give to audience to have a perfect score in biology?
Right. So for a perfect score, you have to remember that the most important thing, don't make silly mistakes. People just read the questions, they are very much in a hurry, and they end up making silly mistakes. What is the component of golden algae? So this is a direct line from NCERT. Diatoms hai, desmids hai, ki kya hai, ki kya hai. So people make mistakes like totally right there. So like, questions will be easy. You don't have to make silly mistakes. Number one point. Second, for biology, read NCERT only and only NCERT. Don't even go for other modules. Don't even buy any other things, and solve all the previous year questions again. 33, 34 year Q bank. Just buy that, or just buy any other service, because every other service will have previous year question papers in their platform, because that is most important. That apart from that, you make a copy which has all your mistakes of biology. So all the mistakes which you made, it will be like a mistake book, and before any exam, so just read that mistake book once or twice, because you will not make the same mistakes. Biology is pretty easy, and there are a few high yield topics in biology. So things like biotechnology, ecology, the one with structural organization, all of these are high yield topics. That means they are a bit complicated to understand, including biotechnology also. But once you get them, there will be nobody stopping you. So for these few certain topics, you can go with some other books as well to understand the concept. But biology is mostly easy.
So okay, so to our next question, like biology ho gaya, physics ho gaya. So like how did you tackle chemistry for NEET?
All right, chemistry. Yeah. So in chemistry, physical chemistry, you have to do exactly like physics. So everything which I told you about physics applies for physical chemistry. Yeah. For inorganic chemistry, you have to treat it like biology. So everything which I told for biology, that is for organic. This is the most important part. Read NCERT. Complete the NCERT part. I read NCERT, and almost all the questions of organic are from NCERT. And second of all, understand the concepts. What is the addition reaction, what is the substitution reaction. So all of these are basic concepts, and once they give you that flowchart type of questions, now one reagent, second, third reagent, fourth reagent, only and only if you know the concepts will you be able to answer what is going to be the product. And at the same time, in organic, consider every single factor that is being asked in the questions. Like I think it's called as resonance as well as induction, and there are 3 or more factors, right, when a reaction is happening. Consider all of that. I think that will do it for organic chemistry. So chemistry is also a pretty easy subject. Physics is difficult for most people.
Okay. So yeah, so now like how many test papers should one like write on average? Should focus be on completion of the syllabus, or writing a test as well as completing the syllabus?
50-50. If you are giving like 2 hours for your theory preparation, that is reading, then 50% of time, that is 2 hours again, should be given for solving questions. And as far as tests are considered, like you said, for 3 hours and give the test. So as many as possible, I would say. Jitne ho sakte. If you want to give 30, 40, 50, 100, no matter how many, just the more grand tests you give, the more you will be prepared for the exam. Imagine it like you are going to a battle with an enemy. So as many times as you do the trial run, you will get better at it. Okay. So do the previous year questions.
Okay. So like writing tests is very important, and you should
very important.
At least 30 or 40 grand tests before.
Yeah, 30, 40 should be, in 6 months, you can easily give 30, 40 grand tests.
Okay. So Anuj, you have been like guiding people through the journey of NEET for many years now. So what do you think the major mistakes that people make in this NEET journey, like in this 2 years, that often like that degrades their rank ultimately?
There are 2 mistakes actually. The first one is not giving enough tests and not solving enough questions. People will just sit and read for 5 hours. and then they'll just end that topic. So just if you have to have 100%, preparation for a topic, don't just read it, solve questions for it. And it's not like I'll read the topic today and solve the question bank 1 month later. Yeah, I'll finish all the topics first, then I will solve the question banks. Just finish one topic, solve the question bank immediately there and there, make your mistake book and give the test. So the more tests you give, the more your preparation level enhances. If there were two kind of people, if there was a person A who was just reading for 2 years and he did not solve even one question, there was a second person who did not read one word also of theory, but he solved all the questions. The second person will win the match in the much higher score than the first person. So that's the concept here. Solve as many questions as you can, because that's the only way you're going to beat the exam. There is no shortcut for that.
Okay. So, did you have any particular mock test strategy, like this I'll do first, then I'll come to this? Yeah. So, can you?
So I think the standard one right now is biology, followed by chemistry, followed by physics. I did that, and that's the one you should follow as well. But in biology, what you have to keep in mind is that give at least 30 to 35 minutes, max to max 45 minutes for biology. Then after, give 45 to 55 minutes for chemistry, and remaining 1 hour and 30 minutes to give for physics. Because physics is the place, if your biology and chemistry are good, the only place which can take you out of your selection is physics. So have enough preparation as well as time for physics. In the end, you don't have to hurry a lot. Secondly, as far as the marking is considered, the OMR marking sheet, when you solve the question, right, first, like, go for biology section, solve the 45 questions which are there in biology, 90 questions which are there in biology, and then mark the first 45, then mark the next 45. And whenever you're marking, make sure that you repeat whatever, let's say 91 का B, so just say that in your mind, 91 का B, फिर 91 और B देख के mark करो. नहीं तो तुम्हारा कैसा होगा, biology 91 से start होता है, you start marking from 1 and you will lose your marks. So simple है कि read the question, say the answer in your mind, and then mark it. So that is my strategy for solving papers. And in the end, give like 10 or 12 minutes for this thing, the questions which you have left.
Okay. So the questions that were not like solved in the first, like you cannot solve in the first go, you'll come back to it later.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So yeah, any revision strategy you used during the final phase of your preparation, like the exams are nearing and so many subjects actually are there. How did you revise them actually?
Exactly. So first of all, you'd start with the things which you're weak at. Just finish them off. At least have 1 or 2 revisions of the most weakest point of, like for me it was thermodynamics in physics, and nuclear physics also in physics I did not know. In biology it was the botany section, because I was always weak in botany. Just find out whatever you're weak at, finish it off very fast, and then just have this thing ki I have to give a grand test every single Sunday. So for the grand test, you just revise the entire week. Just do whatever you can and revise. Just sit down and study for 1 week and then give the grand test. And if you give a grand test every single Sunday, you will have made a lot of progress by that time. Okay. So for revision, just have a goal in mind. I have to finish my weak topics first, then go with the easy topics, and then give the grand test. And try to revise at least 3 or 4 times in a month the total syllabus. And as you go along, when the last month approaches for NEET, try to revise the syllabus entirely in 2 or 3 days. So that is possible, 100% possible, and you can absolutely do it. So it's no big deal, because I'll just give you an example. If you pass NEET UG, if you go to MBBS, and if you study for NEET PG, people have to revise 19 subjects in 19 MBBS subjects in like hardly 7 days before the NEET PG exam comes. So you can imagine that if you are going to do that in the future, NEET UG is very easy, and you can definitely revise a lot.
So can you tell us about the Axon app, and how can people who are studying for NEET can benefit from this app?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for asking, actually. So in Axon, first of all, if you just download the app now, no matter what, you will get 1 question every single day. There will be a question of the day, and that is from the previous year question. That will be for biology only. So no matter what happens, you are at least doing one question every single day passively, like without even have to do anything. Second of all, we've got question bank which covers entire previous year questions. So like I was saying, na, ki do the 33, 34 years.
Yeah.
We have got all those questions in our app only. So if you just go ahead and solve the questions, and they are, in the app you have, after every single question bank you do, you will get your percentage as well as percentile. So out of, let's say there are 1,000 people who have solved that question bank, you will get your ranking in that. Okay, after I have solved this is my rank, and these are the number of people who are ahead of me. So that would be the most benefit part of Axon for students, that is the question bank. And secondly, for the video lectures are also awesome, especially the human physiology part, which is very difficult to understand for some people. I mean, it was very difficult for me because I did not have great teachers. And also, like, all video lectures have been covered. There have also been guest teachers on the Axon app, like there has been Rakshita Singh and a few more other teachers as well. So all of these people have made them awesome. And as far as notes is concerned, we have also got in-app notes. But if you want to, make the notes from the lectures itself, you can definitely do that. So, and before NEET, before like 2 months before NEET, we start the grand test series. So every 2 or 3 days, we have a biology grand test of 90 questions. That also gives you your all India rank. So it has a lot of features, and it is also pretty cheap. It's like 500 rupees. So it will give you a lot of benefit.
So we'll link the app below, and
thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. The final question, like any tips for students who are just starting this journey, actually for the journey of NEET, and are going to sit for the NEET exam in the upcoming years?
Right. Just know that the exam is very easy. People have hyped it up like crazy. Yeah. NEET is difficult, NEET vaisa. I have given the exam and it is very easy. Read NCERT, have faith in yourself and practice a lot of questions. जस्ट वो मेरा एग्जाम्पल याद रखना, 2 लोगों वाला, एक ने क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किया और एक ने सिर्फ रीड किया है. बी द पर्सन हु सॉल्व्स द क्वेश्चंस. That is how you're gonna get ahead. That's it. लगे रहो. That's what I would say.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining us. You are definitely one of the main inspirations behind our channel as well, and I've been like following you for a very long amount of time, and like every Sunday actually it's been a habit to watch your videos, and actually I have seen you evolve actually also as well, like the editing style, like you go from a beginner, you learn things and then you apply things to editing skills, and yeah, it's very great to have you for this interview.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It means a lot to me that you support me. Like it just genuinely means a lot. That's all I could say right now.